back is Heritage Foundation Senior Fellow and former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense Peter Brookes. Peter, let me ask you first. General Jack Keane said today that this was the biggest shock to the Ayatollah in 41 years, that they're, trying to figure out what to do next. Do you think that's an overstatement, and what do you think they do from here?
No, it's a huge blow to the regime. This person was perhaps the second most powerful person in the country, somebody who might become the president of Iran at some time if he had not been killed in that strike. So, yeah, I think they're on their back heels. I think they're on their heels, and they're concerned about how to move forward because they're afraid of taking on the United States, Melissa. They will go after us asymmetrically. They will go after what they perceive to be our weaknesses, but they will not take us on strength on strength. They know they can't. They're weak economically. You've talked much about that on this show. Yeah. Politically, there's a lot of social pressure going on in Iran outside of this latest event, and of course, militarily, they're no match for U.S. military forces.
Okay, so let me ask you about that social pressure because we have been watching here on the show. So inside of Iran, there was uprising among people who, are looking for their basic needs to be met. Yes. We had the regime inside cracking down, killing people. That's what was just happening. Now we're looking on the screen, and other networks are describing these people that have flooded into the streets. They're screaming death to America. That, in essence, I heard them saying on ABC, a week ago they wanted to take the regime down. Now the whole country in Iran is united against us and toward their government. Is that what's going on?
Well, it's hard to say. Obviously, this was a big event in Iran, and it has affected emotions tremendously. But it doesn't change the underlying issues that the Iranian people are very unhappy about. And that includes lack of opportunities, lack of employment, limitations on educational opportunities, the economy. The economy shrunk by 10% last year, and they're expecting the same this year. So once again, they have basic human needs that are not being met. So once again, it's a very high period of emotion, but we'll have to see how this plays out.
And Peter, all of these reports about Iran end with this idea that now they are barreling towards a nuclear weapon because they are angrier than ever, and before they weren't doing that. I look back at a report just from this fall, both the BBC and Reuters reporting that the International Atomic Energy Agency went into a factory in Tehran where before Benjamin Netanyahu had said this was a weapons factory that hadn't been inspected. Now the IAEA says that they have detected nuclear particles within this factory. Everything's been moved out. That would support the claim that they were, in fact, charging ahead with weapons and not letting inspectors go in. Why aren't we hearing more about this? Why is no one focused on this?
Well, it is an important issue. We've talked about it over the years, and we certainly don't want a regime like Iran to have a nuclear weapon. But once again, and they have been violating the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, also known as the Iran nuclear deal, at small levels. It's important to read what they've said, Melissa, and I would recommend people do. What they're doing is they're doing some incremental violations of it, but they're things that are potentially reversible. They basically have said in this statement on Sunday that they will come back to the agreement if the United States lifts the sanctions. So what they're doing is they're trying to put pressure on us, trying to put pressure on the Europeans to help Iran survive these tremendous economic sanctions that they're having to do. But obviously our biggest concern is Iran with a bomb.
Although they won't respond to this evidence at this factory in Tehran that they said was a carpet cleaning factory.
They had a program. They had a nuclear weapons program. There's no doubt about that. And we may not know everything that's going on that the IAEA may not be able to inspect.
Peter, thank you so much. Always great. Appreciate it.